unarchived resources from classes you've taught in the past and bring them over to classes you're teaching right now. To do that, we're going to go to the class you are teaching right now. So we're going to go to this environmental science period T2. You are then going to go to your resources folder. And if you want to add a resource that is not on this list, you're going to click Add a Shared Folder. And you get this pop-up window. And from here, you have a filter. You can say, let me show all of my archive groups, which in this case is every class that Jane has taught since we started in 2009. Or you can say, show me all archived groups, in which case if you were sharing with another class and you wanted to grab some resources, you can do that. But mostly you're going to be in the share my archive groups. And let's say we want to add something from this biology T4. We want to add this blank test on cells. All we do is we click on it, it's going to open it, and we click the checkbox. We say add to shared folders. Close this, and now here it is, right here. If we want to then rename this, all we have to do is click on the pencil and we can give it a new name. I'm going to just put the word new after it and save it. We can also, from this window, if we decide that we've unarchived it but we only want it to show to kids on a certain date, and I'm going to make that in the future, so I want it to display on the 30th and then I want it to disappear on November 8th, and save that folder. It will now be empty to all my students, and it will tell me as the teacher this will become visible on September 30th, and it will then archived on the date that I set. So that's a great new feature. Now we have a bunch of folders here that we've already brought over and then archived, and you can tell that they're archived because they're grayed out. To unarchive something that you brought over, you highlight it, and then over here there's a symbol that looks like a clock. You click on that and it'll say, do you want to restore this? And we say yes. And like magic, it's now restored. So let's restore just a couple of these real quick. All right. And it's always going to sort the restored or unarchived to the top and the archived down to the bottom. Now let's say that we want to change the sort order. We can just click and drag and sort around the files. Okay, if we want to copy several resources at once, I'm going to go to the page that I want to copy the resources to. So in this case, I want to put it on this ecology page. I'm going to click on my Manage Resources, and I'm going to click Add a Shared Folder. From there, I'm going to filter by my archived groups. What I want to copy over is in my Bio T3 folder from years past. I know I want to do the class handout. I want to do the diffusion lab write-up. And let's say I want to do the e-textbook. I then, on top of that, want to share these across more than one of my active classes. So if I click this button, share this folder with several of my groups, I can then select another group to share it with. So I check that, close out of here. So now two are selected. So the ecology and the second one, and then I click this Add Shared Folders. Okay, and then I'm going to close this window, and now my resources are on my ecology page, and if I jump across to T4, they are also here. So they're in two places at once. If I'd like to share out one of my resources to a colleague, I do that by going to my Manage Resources on my Resource tab, and I can view either in a grid view or a list view. I'm going to do a list view because I think it's easier. I find the folder or the resource that I would like to make available to my colleagues, and I click on the pencil. I get the edit folder window, and this checkbox here, enable other groups to share this folder, and it will say note admins, faculty, including the shared folder on one of their class pages, will inherit full administrative rights. Are you sure you want to enable this folder for sharing? If you say yes, and then hit save folder, now others, by going, I'm going to just save it for a minute. Alright, so now that Jane has shared out one of her resources, I'm now going to log in as me and go to my new faculty training page, and I now want to add that resource to my page. So I click on the add shared folder, and instead of going to my active groups, this time I'm going to all active groups, and there's the AP Environmental Science class, and there is the class handouts, and I'm going to say add this shared folder, close, and now there are the class handouts from Jane's class now on my class. If I decide that I want to remove that, not a problem. I just go back to my resources. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to go to my class handouts, and I'm going to click on the trash can, and I'm going to remove this folder from my group. I am not deleting Jane's folder by doing that because I have a copy, and now it's gone. And just to prove that it's still there for Jane, I'm back on her page, and I'm going to refresh. And there are her class handouts. All right.